Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So this is probably the worst my um illness has probably been. This is hopefully going to be the last of it, but people barely can understand me. But I'm persistent to continue going on my schedule that I've made on myself to do these videos because I don't want to get behind and I cannot make an excuse. I can't cover this major news story because I have a bad throat. It doesn't matter if you guys can understand me and if I know my audience, then it's completely fine. But ultimately, I'm working hard to get better. But thank you all for being patient through this. But we're going to go ahead and talk about the 2024 presidential election. The Democrats are coping, okay? The Democrats are coping big. And I'm going to start calling them the coping crats. And you you know this because the Democrats absolutely are resorting to lies. They know Trump is at a good position. This man has been indicted 3 times, impeached 2 times, and they are freaking out. They cannot stop Donald Trump. And the cope is going to continue to build up the wave because the left wing doesn't just realize it. As you know, the moderate and the moderate media realizes it, and that energizes the Trump campaign. Maybe people that, as you know, don't like Donald Trump or not a fan of Donald Trump, mildly neutral with Trump, and they're seeing him powering through these indictments here. They're probably going to feel like they want to go and vote for Trump. And the fact is, these aren't real indictments. Legally, they are. They are 100% legally. But when it comes to these indictments, we know why Donald Trump is getting indicted. He's not getting indicted because of an affair he had back in the 90s with Stormy Daniels. Nope. He is not getting indicted because of an insurrection that wasn't really insurrection like. I mean, it didn't involve any sort of gun. I mean, I would say 10% of the insurrectionists, as we call them, have guns. But usually, if you are going to launch an insurrection, it would be planned. And if it was going to be a U.S. insurrection, the United States would know about it. We have great security in the United States. So, therefore, this was an unplanned event. And it just realistically, people got frustrated and angry and anxious, and they took their emotions at the government. It's sort of like when you bring a the victim's father into a courtroom and that victim's father comes face to face with his daughters, who's dead in this case, his daughter who is the victim, daughter's killer. And what do you immediately start feeling? A lot of people start to attack these killers. They will literally go out there and beat the living out of them. And I think that's kind of what happened to a lot of people. They just were very passionate and they got too rallied up and they just couldn't control themselves. And that happens. And not to mention, like, come on. We let the BLM criminals go who went and rioted in 2020. They didn't do anything wrong, right? We let the pro Palestinian rioters go. They didn't do anything because it's all about a narrative, right? But yeah, he didn't get indicted because of an insurrection. He didn't get indicted because of classified documents. He's getting indicted because he's running for president. And even if the insurrection didn't happen, they would still go after Trump and try to indict him. The stupid insurrection would is just an excuse to make, like, these courts, state judicial Supreme Courts like Illinois, Maine, and Colorado. They're just doing that because they find the perfect excuse, and that's the insurrection. If the insurrection didn't happen, then The excuse in this case would just be anything else they can dig into the ground and find on Donald Trump. They will do whatever they can to disqualify this man from winning. So, and we know this is true because a man is not indicted. No way is a man indicted or a woman indicted. Let's see, 3 to 4 times in 1 year. Bob Menendez, indicted twice, was not indicted in 1 year. We went so easy on this guy. So easy. And he's serving office in the United States as a criminal. Heck, this guy, the U.S. government is so focused on a private U.S. citizen, former president, who's happening to run for president. And we have 2 indicted criminals. Congressman Bowman, I believe, from the U.S. House of Representatives, who was indicted for inciting chaos during Congress by pulling the fire alarm. And then we have Bob Menendez, who has been indicted and charged twice. And they're actively serving in Congress. And I don't think, let's see, what's his name? George Santos I thought I heard him, he was indicted, but Republicans had the decency to kick him off. Democrats can't even kick out their own people. They can't even remove their own little phony little friends. They don't want to, because they know if they remove Bob Menendez, a special election would be held, and that election will most likely go for the Republicans. 2021 showed that New Jersey could go red. Do I think it's going to go red in 2024? No. The only way New Jersey can go red is if Bob Menendez still stayed there, and he's not running for president. He's not running for a re-election, a 4th term. And I think the Democrats won't let him because they know for a fact he will lose. But who knows? I think Republicans are going to see more gains in New Jersey, mainly because the incumbent seat holder, the senator representing the state, is a criminal. But why do you think Donald Trump, who's a criminal, blah, 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 is going to win re-election? Because Americans know it's not the same thing. Donald Trump had a very different pattern than Bob Menendez. And I'm wondering on his, I think it's Jamal Bowman, but let's see. Yes. They have very different history, complete history, different patterns than compared to Bob Menendez and Jamal Bowman, right? But Jamal Bowman was indicted, as you know, for obstructing chaos in Congress. But Bob Menendez is honestly going to be the best when it comes to figuring out how unusual criminal charges, multiple charges, was filed. Going Bob Menendez, he wasn't indicted in 1 year. He was actually indicted maybe 3 years apart from each other. But yes, this guy's definitely a criminal. But Donald Trump, they just did everything, and it's like the gender identity thing all over again. I identify this as an indictment because right when, like 2 months after Trump launched his campaign for president, boom, he got indicted. You get the pattern. And they tried to take him down. You think the American people are stupid. And that's honestly very offensive. You expect the American people to go with your little propaganda show and indicting Trump. That's not going to work. In fact, it's going to backfire, and it has. I am honest here, guys. This is permanent. Joe Biden cannot gain anything from this. He's done. This is probably the best he's gonna do in this election. He can't win Pennsylvania. He can't win Nevada. He can't win. Oh yeah. I have Wisconsin and Michigan. He can't win Wisconsin and Michigan. He could probably get away with Virginia by a little bit. Probably get away with Minnesota by a little bit. But this is it, because the Democrats damaged it for him for so long. So long. You know what they should have been doing? If the Democrats could have shut their mouths about January 6th and let and stop telling the American people to be mad about it. Let us feel what we want to feel. Stop indicating that we have to feel this way. If the Democrats would have let the average American kind of feel what they want to feel about the insurrection, that'll probably go in their favor. Donald Trump would have lost big in 2024. It would be a big surprise. Insurrection, overturn of Roe v. Wade, guess what? Blue wave in 2022 and re-elect Joe Biden. There would be the vaccines and the mask mandates, the vaccine mandates. That's probably what brought the red wave of 2021. But you can see how quickly people forget, right? Because vaccines and mandates were not a thing in 2022. A little bit, though. It was more about the aftermath, like holding those who enforce those mandates accountable. But 2021, they were still going on big time. And people in New Jersey and Virginia wanted their businesses to be open. So, interestingly enough, it's very interesting to see this go around and come around. So this is it, guys. I'm telling you, the Democrats have screwed themselves so bad because Republicans, they screwed themselves in 2022 because they overturned Roe v. Wade at the wrong time. They thought overturning it in June would be a good month to do it, but the Democrats went and pampered the anger, and that's what the Republicans are doing. They indicted Trump. They think indicting him months to a year a year from election day would be perfect. But the Republicans are doing the same thing that the Democrats are doing during the overturn of Roe v. Wade. They're pampering up the anger. They're pampering up the opposition. You got Stephen A. Smith saying the same thing. Stephen A. Smith thinks the Democrats are crazy. I think he's crazy. He's probably he needs some treatment. But anyway, Democrats now think he's crazy too. They call him a Trump supporter. No, he's far from Trump deranged. But he says Democrats have screwed it for themselves so bad they should have left Trump be. And if you wanted to indict Trump, resort to that if he loses or after the election. Don't do it now, because Americans are smart people. They're not dumb. They can put the puzzle pieces together. And we know that they've put the puzzle pieces together, because if Trump being indicted 3 times, heck, he wouldn't have won he wouldn't have won a single poll. He wouldn't have won a single poll. But the American people are saying this wasn't a real indictment. These aren't real indictments with an S. First off, you don't get indicted 3 times a year. No one does that. George Santos didn't even get indicted 3 times a year. This is basically the passion of Donald Trump. Yeah, I'm making this comparison because the Democrats are literally Pharisees from the Bible. They're literally Pharisees, the establishment. And Donald Trump, I don't want to compare him to Jesus, but not in any way. Donald Trump's a very, very weak man. He's a sinner. He's weak like us. Um, I think Donald Trump overall has led an immoral life, but I think Donald Trump as a man is who's trying to make things better for himself. And as Christians, we should be understanding. And with Christian forgiveness, we need to forgive Donald Trump. But these Democrats that preach on kindness and love and tolerance, they don't want to do that. No, they don't want to do that because they don't like what Trump stands for: unity, patriotism. And this is this is exactly what they did to Jesus. I'll tell you this. Guess what? Technically today, Jesus is an indicted criminal. He is technically indicted. That has not been changed, unfortunately. Have you ever realized that? Jesus has been indicted, so Jesus is technically a criminal? Huh. I thought about that last week. And here we think of Jesus as the most loving, the most popular, most powerful person in the world. He's the only prophet, only person or religious founder to what I want to believe. Yeah, probably the most popularist person to be in the world, the popularist criminal in the world. He was wrongfully indicted, and guess what? Trump was too. Like, really, this is going to. I'm going to tell you. It took a little while before people figured out that Jesus was indeed the Son of God, Son of Man. And guess what? Today we don't even know. We forget most of the time. Not 80% of the time that Jesus today is technically still a criminal by Jewish law. That hasn't changed. It's still documented. He technically still a criminal, but 90% of the world knows that he isn't. So I don't care what the New York and Atlanta and Fulton County says. They're like the Sanhedrin from the Bible, right? The group that indicted Jesus. They're exactly that. They're the Pharisees. They think they know everything. The establishment, they're the Pharisees too. They think they know everything, and that they're going to go, and that Donald Trump is completely dumb. Donald Trump doesn't know, and he's dangerous. He's going to wreck the country. So they want to take over the power. That's exactly what the Pharisees did to Jesus. We don't like this guy. He's a king. He's saying he's a king. He's a prophet. We don't like this guy. He's blasphemy. We get rid of him. If you're really Christian people, you would compare this. If you read your Bible daily, you can compare it like that. So, simple logic. I'm happy I brought this up. Uncoincidental because today starts Holy Week for Christians. The week where Jesus is eventually crucified and to die and pay a price, to pay our price for our sins that we committed. We deserve to be on that cross. A row of all of us on that cross, one by one. But one man, Jesus, said, no, I'm going to do it. And we ended up crucifying him with hate. And we aren't literally crucifying Trump, but we are crucifying Trump. We've been crucifying Trump since the Trump derangements and people. And these corrupt judicial branch leaders, they indict Trump. They go after Trump. They raid his house. They want to take away his property. That's crucifixion. Now, they're not going to get away with crucifying Trump literally in the United States. That would be criminal. They know that. But heck, if they hire a hitman, which I can see some these stupid, pathetic establishment players doing. Hiring a hitman to take down this man, to kill him, that will be more than crucifixion. But let me know what you guys think. Yeah, this is it for Joe Biden. He's not going to, in February, we saw Joe Biden take back Pennsylvania. By the end of February, guess what? Trump took it back. And he's holding it. And he has held it for a dominant time. I'm sorry, guys. Something big would have to happen in order for Joe Biden to win this election. For example, bringing back segregation, which will never happen, which is hilarious. Bringing back slavery. Boom, blue wave. No. If there's something that big, like the overturn of Roe v. Wade, if that happened again, yes, Biden would probably win. But guess what? That's not going to happen. Nope. If they're going to continue making this about Trump and indicting a person who is technically, by law, a private citizen, and they're ignoring the major issues that our people are focusing on, that being the southern border and the economy and controlling crime, you're basically like ignoring your own people. We're saying, hey, we would want, it's like a birthday thing. Example, what do you want for Christmas? I want a better border. I want a better economy. And then they go say, nope, you want Trump to go to jail. And they continue to put Trump in jail. Go after Trump. That's not what you asked for. And being an American constituent, you have a right to make a Christmas list and have that Christmas list being followed. The government has done nothing of that. So, very comparable, very arrogant establishment, very arrogant government. We need to stand up against it in November. I will talk like this. I will power through my sore throat to make this point. I'm not kidding. And you can take me seriously, or you can't take me seriously. I honestly don't care. And I'm dead serious. And if I wasn't dead serious, I wouldn't have bothered recording with my sore throat, which anybody couldn't understand me. But you know what? Americans who know their country and that hear the American people, that hear what Americans want and know what's right and what's wrong, can see and hear anything. But anyway, I want to thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next political episode.